Un momento, por favor. Welcome, everybody, to this live edition of the Risorto Report. With all what's going on with the coronavirus lately, hard to say what's going to go on and how things are going to continue. But I can tell you this. The live videos are going to go as shown and as listed as I go them off. Free agency will be addressed. It will be in that will be a part of it. Trades, apparently, obviously, I meant. I'm not going to cover the draft because I honestly don't pay much attention to it. What else is there? If the season continues, there will be more post-game shows, but it's still in flux, so who the hell knows? And really, it's hard to determine what's going to go on with everything that's going on nowadays with the coronavirus. So, sorry to say. I mean, don't know what else to tell you. But all we know is right now is that the NHL's season is suspended. And, well, that sucks, doesn't it? It really does suck. But what are you going to do? A lot of fear among the coronavirus. Lots of people infected. Most cases are mild, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into politics because I typically don't. And I don't plan on it anytime soon because the last thing I want to see and hear is a political debate out of all shows mine. I don't want it. And also because I get pretty sick of it pretty fast. And I would lose interest in it pretty damn fast, too. So where are we? I can tell you where we are. Coronavirus is something that you drink. It's a Corona. That's what I had to say. So what's happening now is that the NHL season is suspended. And Mr. Allshire, no politics. Quiet you. So what's happening is right now the NHL is frozen with intention, so they say, to continue, which is fine. I'm all in favor of that. As I'm trying to look for the standings here on this, here we go. So as of right now, standings go as shown, and for our Islanders, it doesn't look good. It really doesn't. Because why? Right, because they've had a 7-game losing streak where they've struggled to score goals. And the only game throughout this 7-game losing streak where they looked like, hey, they have some balls, was the last loss against Vancouver. Who would have thought that against a team like Vancouver, we would come out scoring 4 goals, but eventually lose in the shootout? We got a point, though, right? We got a point. That wasn't the point. The point was you had to win. And I said this a couple of weeks before the road trip started, that the Islanders need to have at least 2 wins. At least 2 wins before the road trip ends. I honestly, with the way the team's playing against Vancouver, at least they look somewhat good. Defensively, from what I saw in the first period, because I had to leave, and I had to go to work, but I listened to it on the radio. From what it was said, the defense was sloppy copy. Careless penalties, blown assignments, soft goals. It was just a myriad of disasters. So there's that. By the way, the show's going on for a straight hour, so just letting you know. When 1:01 or 1 o'clock or whenever the timer says an hour, that's when I'm ending it, just letting you know. So, and I know I touch my face a lot. It's allergy season for me because of all this wonderful warm weather. I'm perfectly okay with warm weather. Allergies, I'm not. But the point is of this matter, Austin 316, absolutely. So what's going on is that the Islanders now find themselves out of a playoff spot for now, at least if the season continues. But there's been talk going around that it is possible, very possible, that the National Hockey League will be, if this suspension holds for a certain amount of time or past a certain amount of time, that they'll start the playoffs and that the teams that are already in the playoff picture will get in. I don't care for WWE anymore, Mr. Allshear. I really don't. So what's happening is that means teams like the Islanders, the Jets, the Rangers, all these other teams, the Panthers, all these teams, Vancouver even maybe. I think Vancouver's in it. But all these teams that are fighting for that playoff spot for them. Paul, I listened to his show, and he said that the NHL might go percentages. Well, just so people know, I'm not big on percentages. I'm more on, okay, this team has this amount of points. This team is going to be in the playoffs. The team with that amount of points that's not above the playoff line, you're missing the playoffs. Am I wearing all black for the season's funeral? It's possible. But if I was wearing all black, you wouldn't have had the white on it. So there's that. So the white is with some hope. The black is majority, no hope. But the white jersey over there, yeah. To be honest with you, I don't know if the season's going to continue. It doesn't look good for the NHL, especially with the NBA and everything else like that. To be quite frank, I don't know. I really don't know. The NBA canceled its season. Honestly, the NBA suspended its season. I'm sorry. Someone's messaging me on here. So the NBA suspended his season. And to be honest, it was because I don't know the guy's name. I think it was Ruby Gorbit, I believe is his name. I don't pay attention to the NBA. I only pay attention to one team, well, two, the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, but I really don't pay much attention to them. It's more like, oh, they won. Oh, they lost. Okay, that's my day. So with that being said, Roy Gorbit, however the hell you pronounce his name, he's been diagnosed with the coronavirus. And a couple of days before his initial diagnosis, he was mocking the coronavirus by touching all reporters' microphones and their cell phones that were on, I guess, voice recorder or whatnot. And now he's been diagnosed with the coronavirus, pronounced Gobert. Okay, then. So Roy Gobert, Ruby Gobert. Okay, I get it now. So now we find out that his teammate, Donovan Mitchell, was and is now diagnosed. And teammates are saying that Gobert was being careless and all that. Well, that's on him. He's an idiot for that. But now with that happening, the NBA suspended its season. Oh, Rudy. Okay. With the NBA suspending its season, this now means that virtually everybody else followed suit and suspended their seasons. Some sports canceled their seasons. Some sports canceled their seasons, such as the XFL. I know there's no more March Madness anymore. In a sense, thank God, because I don't pay attention to that. But there's no college basketball tournaments, no Big Ten, no SEC, no NCAA, none of that. So there's no more MLB spring training there for the time being. NFL scouts, I believe, I've been told not to go to anything. I don't know anything about the college tryouts for the NFL. Soccer has been canceled. I don't know if that's been suspended or not, honestly, but virtually any sport that has anything that is relative of a sport, it ain't happening. Unless you're doing one of those single person sports. Because I remember I was out with some friends last night. And let me put it like this. With all of that being said, golf, I'm not even sure if that's still going on. Yes. Okay. I got you now. The Masters has been canceled. Oh, suspended. I'm sorry. Everything. I remember I was watching TV yesterday and I was out with a bunch of friends going out to dinner. And there was this single event going on that was, I think, you fly these airplanes or something. Not really airplanes, but there's like these smaller versions of airplanes. And you have to stick on a track and go through. I don't know what it is. I don't know if tennis is canceled, for God's sake. If tennis isn't canceled, and we have to talk about that, I honestly don't know where this is going. Yes, I heard that SmackDown was in an empty arena. I hear Raw is going to be in an empty arena, which who the hell knows with that at this point. Well, James, put it this way. Without the Islanders playing, there's no need for the brown box of shame. So, no need, especially when it's suspended. So, now let's put it like this. Let's revert back to the Islanders. If the NHL were to say the regular season is over after a certain amount of time, and they say, okay, we are doing playoffs only because they want to reward the cup, and I don't blame them. They don't want to have a vacant cup, which, again, I completely get. So if they do that, the Islanders will miss the playoffs, which will spell failure. And I'm being completely tough but fair when I say this. If this happens to where the Islanders, if the season continues to be suspended, but the playoffs start, the Islanders, as of right now, will be out. The same with the Rangers, the same with the Panthers, the same with the Jets, the same with the Vancouver Canucks. And I don't remember what other teams. I think it was I honestly have to check. I don't remember. Wild card standings. Let's see here. Same goes for Vancouver, Minnesota, and Arizona, right? I think Arizona. Right? Yes, Arizona. So it'll be. Here's the thing, Matt. With point percentage, I don't know. You could say point percentage this and point percentage that, but we don't know what the NHL is planning. It does make the most sense, absolutely. But if the NHL does decide to go by points that a team has and how the standings are, then the Islanders will miss the playoffs. Now, if we go by point percentage, I don't know where, honestly, to find that. Honestly, I think I can. Let me try go into stats, I guess. So, I guess I really don't know. I got to move this a little more this way, so I will scooch over here to more of the center because I can't see a damn thing. So, with all this happening, and quite honestly, I don't know what is going to happen. None of us know right now. And I'm going to try and find the point percentage. Here we go. Okay, point percentage. I believe it's 16 teams, right? Or is it 5 teams per? So if it's 5 teams per, the Islanders have a 588 save. Wow, point percentage. It's still in the afternoon, but wow. So we don't know actually. They would eliminate extra games that the other teams played. Well, right now we don't know what's going on. We really don't. And let's just say, for instance, let's put this out there. And I've heard that. Yes, Elliot Friedman said that there will be a tournament for the 2 wild card spots. Okay, that's fine. Now let me ask you this: if the NHL decides to go point percentage, it has nothing to do with, and contrary to fans' belief, to all the whining fans' belief, there is no bias. If it simply goes, they decide, okay, we're going to do points and standings, what will be your reaction to not the Islanders missing the playoffs? I'm sorry, not the NHL saying the Islanders are not in the playoffs, but what will be your reaction? And feel where I'm going with this. What will be your reaction to the Islanders and to Lou Lamoriello not building a team off of the success of the 2018-19 season? Yes, I can understand that the year before was an evaluation year, whether we're going to win now or whether we're going to rebuild or retool, or we're just going to be middle of the pack. But last year, we were in the playoffs. We surprised virtually everyone. We swept the Pittsburgh Penguins in 4 games, hence Swift over here. And then when it came to Carolina, we got swept by them, hence Swift again. So when it comes to this, If the Islanders don't make the playoffs, what will be your reaction to Lou Lamoriello exactly and what he did this offseason? I'm not talking about what he did for the trade deadline because that's a separate discussion. It goes on what you did and what you built in the offseason. Initial. Everything is initial. So you can say, well, Lou got Jean-Gabriel Pageau or he got Andy Green. Well, let me ask you, what would it be if the Islanders didn't make the playoffs? If they do go by this point, if they do go by points and by standing of the wild card standings, what would your reaction be to Lou Lamoriello not building a strong team in terms of goal scoring and goal differential as he blatantly worries about? That's my question. Because if you ask me, and I want everyone else's reaction here who's watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for that matter, I want to know what your reaction is. My reaction is I think he will have failed the season. Not the team entirely, just the season. I think that Lou Lamoriello would have failed the season if A, because he didn't get a goal scorer, B, he brought back virtually the same squad as last year, with the only differences being Derek Brassard and Semyon Varlamov. And then, with the only two subtractions being Robin Lehner, unfortunately, and Valtteri Filppula. Now, Valtteri Filppula, I understood he wanted to finish out his career in Detroit where he first started it all. I get that. But Robin Lehner, why not him? Now, I can understand that the Varlamov signing was in due in part to trying to coerce Ilya Sorokin, the Isles prospect, to come over to the NHL to play for the Islanders. But let's put it like this. What if, for whatever the reason the hockey gods might have out there, whatever Sorokin's reasons are, what if for some reason Sorokin doesn't come over to the NHL, doesn't come over to the Islanders? That Varlamov contract isn't looking good at all. It's not going to look good. And a year. And you're right, David. We can't judge till we find out if Sorokin comes over. But we're just talking hypotheticals right now. If Sorokin doesn't come to the NHL for whatever the reason, that contract looks bad. If Sorokin comes over, no matter what the situation, if Sorokin comes over, that contract looks good. Now, whether he lives up to the hype or not is a different story. But whether or not, if he comes over to the NHL and plays for the Islanders, that contract looks good. It says, okay, I had to overpay, but it got the guy I wanted to come over, which is fine. But now, if for whatever reason is out there, Sorokin is traded, that's going to spell disaster for Lou Lamoriello. It's going to spell disaster not only for Lou Lamoriello, it'll spell disaster for the Islanders goaltending tandem. Because I don't think there's many backup goaltenders out there on the market, many reliable ones. The only one that I could really make a case for is Thomas Greiss because he's been here for some time. He's had on years, off years, on years, off years. But here's the thing. For this upcoming season, let's say this season is done already, who's your backup if Sorokin doesn't come over? It's not going to be Christopher Gibson of the AHL. He's not an NHL goaltender. He is just an AHL goaltender, a third stringer. Hell, on my roster, he'd be a fourth. He wouldn't even be on it. Do we know what's going on with Soderstrom? I think he's injured. There's not really many free agents out there. And I don't think, honestly, to those who are asking if the season continues to July, I honestly don't think it will go to that point. Because one, it's different for the NBA because you deal with hardwood floor. Second, when it comes to the NHL, you're dealing with ice. And you might have this great venue, but you still have to keep the place cool, which will be harder to do in the hotter months, such as June, July, and August. It's one thing for June for a couple of weeks when you're doing the cup, which is fine. because it's only for like 2 weeks or so, and that's it. But when you're doing, a season to keep the ice there, it's going to be difficult. Now, unless, let's say the cup goes into July. Let's say the cup goes into July. I don't think it's going to be at a specific team's arena. Now, let's just say for purposes of discussion, it's either Tampa Bay or Florida against, let's just throw a random team out there. Arizona. Let's say it's Florida or Tampa against Arizona. You're talking about two places that are scorching hot in the summer. I'm willing to bet if that's the case, if it does come down to a Stanley Cup of, let's say, Tampa Bay or Florida versus what is it, Arizona. I'm willing to bet that home arena, that one arena, is going to be in a mutual location, in a centralized location where they could be where the ice can stay solid, where they don't have to worry about it melting, and very simple, they won't have to worry. The ice will be there. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere out in the middle in Colorado, maybe in Canada somewhere. Maybe, just maybe, it might be in Minnesota. Who knows? But the thing is now, when we're talking about next season right now, the situation is that when it comes to free agents, and I'm not talking players like position players right now, I'm talking goaltenders. When it comes to a goaltender, now I'm not caring whether he's this, that, or the other, but if he's an unrestricted free agent, I don't think there's many options out there, honestly. I really don't. I'm going to scroll through Cap Friendly right now, so we'll see how things go from there. Just got to move this over a little bit because Cap Friendly is being doo-doo. So let's see here. Let's see what goaltenders are free agents. So we've got several here, and not all of them are sexy names, honestly. And this is for the end of this season. It's not looking good unless you want to get another starter. But here are some names. I'll throw them out. And I'm not going to name starters. Make no mistake, I'm not going to name starters. I'm going to look for backups. So understand where I'm going with this. So the first name that comes to mind, Thomas Greiss. Do you bring him back? In my opinion, I think you do, if Sorokin doesn't come. I'll get to your question in a minute, David. But right now we're going to talk about the goaltenders, and then I'll get into your question because that's a good question. Thomas Greiss, are you in favor of bringing him back? If he takes a pay cut? What about Cam Talbot? 32 years old. Could be a viable backup for this team. Anton Khudobin. I don't think we'd have interest in Brian Elliott. Let's see here. Would you go after Aaron Dell? That's a decent name. Aaron Dell, a .907 save percentage, a 3.01 goals against. Maybe. Keith Kincaid, although he really didn't do well in Montreal. Anton Forsberg, but he's more of an AHL goaltender. Do you go after a 40-year-old in Ryan Miller, who's 39 right now, but guaranteed he'll be 40? You really don't have much choices out there. So you best thank and pray for your lucky stars that Sorokin comes over. And if he doesn't, that's where the trouble lies. Because you're not going to be going to Christopher Gibson for your backup goaltender. The guy virtually never plays in the NHL for good reason. He's not good. He's an AHL goaltender who's a third stringer just in case either your starter or your backup gets hurt for whatever the reason. He's not a NHL goaltender. I don't know why people think that. I really don't know why some people think that Christopher Gibson is this end-all be-all. He's not. When the NHL Network, I believe, aired the Bridgeport versus, I think it was the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. Yes, that was it. The Lehigh Valley Phantoms. It was disastrous for Gibson, allowing 5 goals. Honestly, this is a big one. Lou Lamoriello knows goaltenders, yes, but what will he do in the case if Sorokin doesn't come? Unless you want to sign another starter to the squad, because the way that Varlamov has been playing as of late, he hasn't really been much as really shown he's starter material. He's shown more to be a backup. And honestly, the way that Varlamov has been playing, it doesn't give me faith that this team has a starter. The only way it does is if Sorokin comes over. And that's being very honest. Because with that being said, at first Varlamov and Greiss looked really good. Then the Islanders as a whole plummeted after the 17-game point streak. 15 wins, 2 overtime losses. No losses. No regulation losses, I should say. With this happening, it honestly does make you wonder, is there a backup plan? Or is it going to be like free agency, where Lou gave an offer to Artemi Panarin, and there was no backup plan after that, but to overpay Anders Lee? 7 years, $7 million. That's a horrible overpayment. Now, let's get to some of these questions here. What will be my thoughts if Lou Lamoriello signs Tom Kuhnhackl to a 2-year deal? Oh, Lord. It's just showing that he is stuck in his old ways. And I was talking to someone about this yesterday who is a big hockey fan. Nuts. And is also a big Devils fan, by the way. One of the biggest Devils fans I know. I don't think I know anybody else bigger than her. But honestly, if Tom Kuhnhackl is in is signed to 2 years, it'll forever prove my point that Lou Lamoriello doesn't understand the modern day game. Because you need to have an even balance. Goal scoring, third line, and then your fourth line gritty guys that Lou Lamoriello is infatuated with. This isn't the same game as it was pre-lockout. It's different. Now, honestly, it's going to be very difficult to absorb if no goal scorer is acquired. And there was a question I missed, and I'm sorry about this. If the season continues in July, does this interfere with Pelech's return next season? I doubt it will. I really doubt it. To be honest, I really don't think it'll affect it. Because what's there to affect? There really isn't, really. Does Lou Lamoriello allow Sorokin to keep the number 90 that he's been playing with on his back since the with his time with the KHL? I don't think so, knowing Lou's rules, which is no high jersey numbers, anything over 50 or 30. No facial hair in the regular season. What else is there? Media can't travel with the team. That's really it. But honestly, if there is no, it's hard to say. And that's a good question from you, David. Honestly, Matt, I think Varlamov would take number 1 because when Varlamov was in Washington, he originally wore the number 40, which is why he's wearing that now. But I think after a year or two or a couple of years, he changed it to number 1. So don't be surprised if you see a new number 1 jersey next year and it's worn by Sorokin. I'm sorry, Varlamov. I would rather Barry Komarov because that way you don't have to worry about that contract on. Now, what happens with Andrew Ladd and his contract? Oy, woof. Thanks a lot, Gar Snow, for that contract. But, jeez. That one was. Whew. I know there was another question on here that someone asked. Then give him the number 30-ish number. Well, that's the thing. I was just thinking about this yesterday when I was talking to my friend who was the Devils fan. I said, don't be surprised if Lou does not allow any goaltender to wear the number 30 out of respect for Martin Brodeur. And I understand that Brodeur played for the Devils, but you forget who was his GM? Lou Lamoriello. For God's sakes, nobody wore number 13 before in the Devils, and Mikko Hischier is the first Devil in Devils history to wear the number 13. Makes you think, right? Makes you wonder, indeed. It really does. Doesn't matter which, you're right, but the fact that, which bothers me the most, why are you so anal about jersey numbers? It's a number. I can understand if, let's see. I can understand that if a player wanted a certain number, but it was retired or another player is wearing it, I can understand that. But we're talking about lowering everyone's number who isn't a veteran. Keep in mind, and I said this when Lou Lamoriello first took over, if you're going to have a rule, make sure everyone has to follow it, not just veterans, not just a select group. If Anthony Beauvillier, Ross Johnston, Adam Pelech, Scott Mayfield, if they can't keep their high jersey numbers, no one should. No one should be able to keep their high numbers. That goes for Boychuk. That goes for Cizikas. That goes for Valtteri Filppula when he was here. That goes for his boy Leo Komarov. Assistant coaches can't talk to the media. Oh, how dare. How dare an assistant coach talk to the media? How dare he? It's as if he'll expose something, my God. That's fine. Just imagine this. If Lou really found 13 unlucky, imagine how, and I'm going to get to that, David. Imagine how pissed off Islander fans would be if Lou forced Matt Barzal to vacate the number 13. Imagine it. With all these people getting Matt Barzal jerseys, and this was before he took this was before Lou Lamoriello took over. All those number 13 jerseys. And then all of a sudden, Lou Lamoriello said, nope, he can't wear that. He's got to wear, let's say, the number 3 or any other number that isn't 13. Imagine how fans would be. They would be livid. Oh, I don't think there is a casino night happening anymore. For whatever the reason, why Sorokin would have come to the NHL, it's whatever the reason at this point. It's not just because, James, to be honest, players don't want to come to the Islanders because they don't want to play for lose rules. It's not really that. It's more because, one, the Islanders had 2 home arenas. 2, the Islanders weren't a desired destination. 3, they had 2 home arenas. Who wants to play for a team that is playing half of its games in the team in the town that they're supposed to be in, and in this case, Uniondale, and then you have to take the train to Barclays Center? It's one thing if you're the Rangers and you're relegated to MSG, which is okay. You commute there every day. You have to take the train there. But when you're the Islanders, your majority fan base is on Long Island. And that's not to bash anybody who doesn't live on Long Island or out of state or anything. But when your majority fan base is on Long Island, you stay on Long Island. Now, I understand the Islanders went to the Barclays Center as sanctuary for the, what's it called? For the Barclays Center while they didn't have the Coliseum. I get that. I'm still allowed to hate the damn place. I never liked it. I never liked the commute there where I would have to take 2 trains wherever I was going from to Jamaica, then Jamaica to Atlantic Avenue. I'm not big on that. Keep in mind, I don't mind traveling. I just don't like taking 2 trains. Then having to pay train fare plus my ticket. Then going to the arena. Now, granted, Barclays Center food was relatively cheap, very, very relatively cheap, but the ice was horrible. A lot of players complained about it, both Islanders and opposing teams. It was just a mess. Another loose rule. Fans cannot do meet and greets. Well, what the hell? First, we have casino night, which is not happening for the most part. Why? It's for charity. Why wouldn't you have that? I don't want the fans to interrupt my players. Stick to the times, old man. You're not doing that anymore. Now everything has to be just do it. Just do it. You're going to love this. I've never been to Junior Cheesecake. I've always wanted to. Honestly, here's my issue. And here are some of the rules that I think that should be either laxed or modified. And you tell me. He allows facial hair in the playoffs, which is fine. Personally, to me, I don't mind the no facial hair rule. I think, however, you could extend it. You can have a beard as long as you keep it neat and trim. I don't think you should have a Brett Burns beard during the playoffs, during the regular season, which, listen, that beard is godly. But if you're going to have that rule where you can't have facial hair, I think you should at least be able to grow it out, but to a certain length, and to where you have to keep it neat and trim. I think that's fine. Frank, that's fine for you, but I don't have that kind of money to keep doing that all the time. I don't have the money. Not a lot of people do. People can only afford to go to one or the other. I'm not putting my hands in other people's pockets, but for you, that's fine. For other people, not so much. Me included. I think the number rule has to go. Absolutely has to go. That number rule is ridiculous. Let people wear whatever numbers they want. It's a number. What else is there? Let the fans interact with players and coaches. What is so wrong with that? You don't see the players complaining unless the fan is really being an ass. Just do it. Let them. If the fan is being a prick, I can understand that. You ban that fan from doing that. But if the fan is just saying, hey, can I get a picture with you? Saying, hey, I like your game. Great job. I'm glad you're on the team. Meet and greet. Then why not? Media availability. Let them fly with the team, for God's sakes. They aren't second class. They really aren't. It really does make you wonder. Oh yeah, I heard about that, but the draft party. But I'm not. To me, I'm not big on the draft party, but I think that's a rule that needs to go too. Let the fans interact. That's all I'm saying. If you want to, for the sole purpose of keeping the fans at a distance from the players, you have the players in a certain area, and you have like a barrier or whatnot for the fans to interact and all that. You can do that, but to have no access at all, I think that's pushing it a little bit, a lot of it. I'll get to that in a minute, James, in a little bit. But when it comes to this, when it comes to loose rules, I think the owners should tell them chill with the rules and have them do what I said or something on those lines. Thoughts on the owners? Here's the thing. There was a friend of mine went to an Islanders game recently. It was the Islanders versus Montreal in the humiliating way that the Islanders lost 6-2. He was sitting close to or next to or was able to see inside the press box, the owner's suite. And he saw Scott Malkin chewing out Lou Lamoriello's ear, saying that something had to be done. Now, we already knew that something was done. We got Jean-Gabriel Pageau, which was fine. But when your team goes from, virtually guaranteed the playoffs, and you go in the last 49 games or so, 19, 20, and 9, if you add all that up, that's 19 and 29. It's not good. That means you're playing under 500, but for the sake of hockey reasons, you're playing under 500 right now. You're one game under 500 right now, and that's not going to help you. Ledecky is just a mouthpiece. He's the public face of everything. Scott Malkin is doing everything behind the scenes, giving money, this, that, and the other, helping with the arena. Now this season is Lou's true test. First season was the evaluation. This season was supposedly built off that success of last season. This is the true test. If the season is canceled and the Islanders don't make it to the playoffs, Lou failed the season. Short, sweet, and to the point. I like the current owners. I think they're fine. I have nothing against them. They're giving us a new home arena. They managed to work to get just the Coliseum a one arena. I don't mind them. I honestly don't. Now, my reaction if Brett Thompson isn't fired. The man needs to go. When was the last top six forward the man developed? You could blame Gar Snow for not drafting, a bunch of top-line goal scorers. But you could groom them. You could develop them into them. I'm not seeing enough out of Bridgeport. You saw them make the playoffs last year. Hey, that was great. What about this year? They're at the bottom of the division. Sucking harder than a whore in a wind tunnel. I'm sorry to get graphic, but just saying that's how it is. Especially the way how Bridgeport won in the shootout. For some reason, they were able to score 3 goals. Imagine that. The Islanders scoring 3 goals. Hey, if Bridgeport can do it, you probably can too, right? Wrong. The last time the Islanders scored 4 or more goals before Vancouver, was against the win against San Jose. San Jose. That is bad. I'm going to handle free agency right now. Who should we get? A goal scorer. The reason why the owners allowed Lou to do whatever he wants, it's because of his name, because of his resume. They let him do whatever he wants. I don't agree with it. The owners care about this, money, and how their product is doing. That's really it. Lad really doesn't have a beard. It's more stubble, but it's there. Just letting you know. It's not really a beard. It's like more of a 5 o'clock shadow kind of thing. Letty has it. Clutterbuck has it. Some guys have it. That's just how it is. Thompson is waiting in line after Trotz goes. Oh, no. If Thompson stays next season, it'll go to show that the yacht club with this team still exists. Well, my son is good friends with Thompson. I couldn't let him go. Well, friendship aside, he's got to go. Josh Hosang, 1 foot out the door already. I'm willing to bet money on it that he's not coming back next season. He's already playing for the St. Louis Blues affiliate, the San Antonio Rampage. And already so far from what I've heard, he's looking good. Maybe a change of scenery is all that kid needs. And I'm hoping the best for him. Maybe a team will let him wear the number 66. Who the hell knows? Opinion of 1. Hang a banner for Jiggs McDonald. Retire LaFontaine's number 16. Add Bob Bourne to the Hall of Fame. Islanders Hall of Fame. Yeah, hang something up for Jiggs. Yes, I agree with that. Retire number 16. Retire Turgeon first, then retire Turgeon first, then LaFontaine. I think that's fair enough. Bob Bourne's at the Hall of Fame, yes. Absolutely. Pierre Turgeon's jersey number retired first. Then we'll see about LaFontaine. Or as Rick Jenneret would call it, LaFontaine. So, for all my baseball fans out there, I do have an announcement to make. After much consideration, declaration, decision-making, and also fan requests, I have decided that I will cover baseball. Mets baseball, to be exact. Now, for you Yankee fans out there, who's going to give me hell for this? For Yankee fans that give me hell about this, that's what I say. But I will be covering Mets baseball. I will not, I repeat, I will not be doing post games. I will not be covering each series. Yes, I know, David. Screw you. I will not be doing post series. I will not be doing post game. 162 games, I am not doing. I will tell you this. I will do like I do with the Islanders. With the Islanders, I do after the 20 game mark, 40 game, 60 game, and the 82nd game mark. And I do live videos for free agency and trades. And also random live discussions. For baseball, what I will do, and I think this is a little much, but if I feel it is too much, I will let you all know. What I will do is that I will, each month, I will do a live update for about an hour, kind of like here. We will discuss the Mets. We'll discuss the Yankees. We will discuss everything around baseball. We'll discuss what's going on with the Mets and Yankees. Mostly Mets. Sorry, people. But yes, that's what I will do. What else is there? I will do free agent signings. I will do trades. But I'm not going to be doing minor league trades. Make no mistake about that. I'm not going to do that. And I am certainly not going to do, okay, well, this guy went on the DL or the disabled list or the injured list, because we're politically correct. We have to say fucking injured list. Because people take things way too fucking seriously. What we will do is major injuries. And I'm talking out for the season or long term. Major injuries. I will do a live video. If there is, let's see here, because I got to think this through. I will not be doing live videos for call-ups. I will not do live videos for minor league trades. I will not be doing videos for, okay, here's a guy here and there's a guy down there. I'm not going to do that. I am not going to be doing prospect reports. Kind of like what I do with the Islanders. I don't do that. I do it straight with the NHL team. I do it straight for the MLB team. If you have questions on the minor league team, because I somewhat follow the minor leagues in baseball, I might do that. But I do not. I'm not going to be doing updates on the minor leagues. I'm not going to be doing, oh, hey, this team won. We got to follow them. Let's do a post-game report. Ain't going to happen. But I will be covering each month. If I feel it's too long, I will be doing every other month, or too much, I should say. Times will be I will be announcing times whenever I feel fit, whenever the time seems fit. What else? That's really it. There will be every month so far. Then there will be trade deadline. I guess I'll cover for some part of it, depending on what's going on. But yes, I will do a trade deadline video. Signings, extensions, trades, I'll do. Major injuries, I'll do for the Mets or Yankees. Well, mostly for the Mets. But I will throw the Yankees in there, because I have a lot of fans over here. A lot of fans who are both Mets and Yankees fans, so I feel it's fair for that. These live videos will be on YouTube, they will be on Twitter, and they will be on Facebook. As you all know, I do write. I do articles about the Mets. When the season resumes, whenever that is, when the regular season starts, that's when I will be doing the first article of the season. Just throwing that out there. But that's that. So, with all that being said, tell me, questions, comments, concerns. Anybody have any? Will I cover the NFL draft? Will I cover lacrosse? No, and no. I will not. The thing with Belmont is it could come after next season. It might not. So just saying, don't be surprised if after next season the Islanders aren't in Belmont yet. Just throwing that out there. If I know how to connect a phone call to here, then yes, I will take future calls. But until then, no. That's why I have you all commenting on here. So, anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about the Islanders? Maybe you have questions about the show, about what's to come next? Anybody have any questions at all? Any questions at all? Any at all? If you don't have any questions, I'll just kill the show right now, and that'll be it. How long before Cespedes and Cano get hurt? I know where you're going with this, Frank. And honestly, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, Cespedes is making great progress. I don't expect him to start the first of the season, but honestly, we don't know what's going on. But possible that he comes back. I think Cespedes is definitely coming back, barring any setbacks. Cano, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Live video next Saturday. I don't know. I don't know yet. Possible, but I don't know right now. It's too far in advance. I'll let you know. I might post something in the middle of the week. I'm going to do that, David. Give it a moment. I'm not going to do everything when people say. I do things on my time. And I haven't forgotten. Don't worry. I do like the roster for the Mets. I honestly do. I think it's a good roster. When healthy, I think it could go far. Is Belmont Station still a go? I honestly don't know. I don't know that much information about Belmont Station. If anybody has any information about Belmont Station, feel free to show it. Anybody have any other questions, comments, concerns, whether it's about the Islanders, the Mets, whether it comes concerning with the show for that matter? And I don't know when construction starts for Belmont Station. I honestly don't. I don't have that information. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. So, questions, comments, concerns, anything. Anybody at all. We got 3 minutes left before I cancel out, before I end the show. Just so everyone knows, a couple of days ago, the brother of Thomas Hickey passed away. Unfortunately, he did. I think it was because of a cancer-related illness. Very sad. Condolences to the Hickey family. Can Ladd be put on LTIR when perfectly healthy? No. He cannot be. Unless Ladd agrees to it, which I doubt. The players' union would go nuts if Lou Lamoriello did something like that and Andrew Ladd was healthy. He looks healthy enough as it is, just going by what we've been seeing. But he's not going to be put on LTIR to save salary cap space. He's not. Just for the sake of, oh, well, you have a bad contract. Oh, well, yeah, you're going on LTIR. It doesn't work that way. You get off at Belmore and take an Uber or walk if need be. At Belmore? Do you know how much an Uber will be from Belmore to Belmont? Unless I'm hoping that's a typo, Frank. From Belmore to Belmont. Damn. That's going to ride you high. I'm not doing that, David. Not going to. I'm not like that. James, you're asking me questions that I don't know the answers to in regards to the arena. I really don't. I don't. The only thing I've seen was that blueprint of what they wanted. They really only, all I saw was like, kind of like a big shopping complex with a hotel. I don't know what's going on with the arena. All I know is that it's still being built because everybody I virtually see on my Facebook posts pictures going back and forth. It looks the same. It's getting better and better, yes. Will it be done in time for the 21-22 season? I don't know. Is it possible? Yes. Will they? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't. And you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a Raiders hat. It's because the way the Islanders have played recently, they don't deserve me wearing their colors. Just saying. So, with that being said, the hour mark has come. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. The next show, I'm not sure when it's going to be. Hopefully, the Islanders start playing hockey again soon. I don't know when, but soon. Wow, Frank. That's Belmore and Belrose. Big difference. Hopefully the Islanders come back soon. Hopefully every sport comes back soon. I personally wouldn't have an issue if the NBA doesn't return, but that's just my personal opinion about the NBA. I'm no fan of it. But for that time, I will let you all know when the next live show will be. I know what Belrose is, Frank. I know what it is. Oh, you're saying that is the stop for Belmont. Okay. So until then, I will see you all in the next episode, whenever that may be. And for the time being, let's go Islanders.